And joining us now is a guy who knows a lot about the conflict and everything else. His name is Josh Hammer. You might know him. He's the author of the brand new book, Israel and Civilization, The Fate of the Jewish Nation, Destiny of the West, out today. He's also on the First TV, which is our distributor as well. And we're pleased to have him from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Any update on the Gaza stuff that I missed?
Bill, I mean, the ceasefire is obviously over. The IDF is hammering Gaza right now. It seems like they are committed to finally seeing this operation through. My own 2 cents on this is basically as follows. The President of the United States, Donald Trump, and his entire team have made very clear to Netanyahu and the Israelis that you have all the support that you could possibly want right now. Trump has basically said, give them hell, make them pay for it there. He has made very clear that the United States will continue to stand with the Netanyahu government in Israel diplomatically, militarily, in the international forum and so forth there. So to me, Bill, the ball truly is in Netanyahu's court right now. And I am personally very heartened to see that the IDF is returning to the very hard, difficult, albeit wholly necessary work of eradicating the Hamas cancer from Gaza, because there is no solution.
Do you think Hamas ever going to surrender, is ever going to stop? Because I don't think they're ever going to stop. So that means you got to kill them all, right?
So I don't know exactly what the solution is, Bill. I do say, I argue in Israel and Civilization that at a bare minimum, it is incumbent upon the United States and Western civilization at large to convince the Palestinian Arabs that they have lost the century-plus long jihad to eliminate the Jews of Israel. Part of this is psychological, part of this is diplomatic, but you have to actually convince them that they're never actually going to get back this land.
I don't know if that's possible, because they're crazy fanatics. But it was interesting today that Trump linked part of his conversation with Putin to the exact thing you just brought up. That apparently Putin agreed that there wasn't going to be any dissolution of Israel, and that Putin would help prevent that. Apparently, I mean, but I know that Trump is emotionally invested in this, and you saw what Trump did to the Houthis in Yemen over the weekend. He's blowing the hell out of them. But, to me, I'm much more optimistic about Ukraine than I am about Gaza. Would I be wrong there?
Look, Donald Trump takes a very different approach to these two conflicts. I personally take a very different approach to these two conflicts because, Bill, I'm a hard-headed foreign policy realist. I look at every hotspot. I look at every conflict around the world, and I basically ask the following question. What is the national interest for the United States in this particular conflict? And based on my answer to the first question, then I ask the second question, which is what, if anything, should we do about it? And I, like President Trump, have a very different answer to these two particular conflicts. It's time for the war in Russia and Ukraine to wind down. This thing's been going on for over 3 years now. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people have died. Millions and millions and millions more from Ukraine have fled the country there. Bill, it's going to take Ukraine as a country at least a half century, maybe more than that, to recover from this in terms of getting an economy back, in terms of getting their people back, in terms of giving people hope for the future to start marrying and having children again there. This is part of the reason why I have personally been skeptical of Vladimir Zelensky and his "we will continue this war until we regain every square inch of territory" campaign, because I look at that and I say, at what cost? At what cost?
But it's not even going to happen now because Trump's elected. If Kamala Harris had been elected, then I think Putin would have pushed it. But he knows that Trump's not going to allow that. And he knows America's more powerful than Russia. And he doesn't want a nuclear war over this thing. That's why Putin's giving a little bit. Now, look, I hate to use the cliche, we'll see, because that's what all these idiot television people do because they don't know anything. I know a lot. But I think that there's a framework there where Putin's going to try to walk away and tell his own people, hey, we won. Look, we got Donbass, we got, remote regions, or whatever he's going to tell them. But in Gaza, these people are so hateful, I don't ever think they're going to stop. I just don't ever think they're going to stop. And that means that every day, innocent Israeli people are in danger. And innocent Palestinians, too, although I don't feel as sorry for them because they should have tried to overthrow these Hamas people rather than cooperating with them. I know it's fearful. I understand all that. I want to play you a montage that my staff put together and get your opinion on this. I believe that the leftist media in America, I believe two things. They don't like Israel in general. They see Israel as a fascist nation. Okay, this is the progressive left in America. And they don't want a ceasefire in Ukraine because Trump would get credit for that. Roll the tape.
One thing is becoming clear now. Mr. Trump admires Mr. Putin. I don't think there's any floor to his subservience to him.
First, there is indeed a lot of land that's different in Ukraine today because Russia illegally invaded a sovereign country. Donald Trump, the American president's suggestion that any of it should be, quote, divided up with Vladimir Putin is an undemocratic, unprecedented hot take from a sitting American president.
Trump's views are completely out of step with the views of most Americans. But on this issue, it appears to me that he does not care much that he is so out of step with Americans. He views himself and Vladimir Putin as sort of bonded in victimhood.
I mean, these people, they're dishonest because they don't have a solution to stopping this Ukraine war. You ask them, well, what's your solution? They don't have one. So that means it goes on and on and on, and the United States just gets billions and billions and billions of dollars over there, and so does the EU. Because you can't let Putin just run wild and take the country over. I mean, that would be, China would love that. You know, the reverberations of that would just be incredible. So these leftist progressives, they hate Trump so much, they would rather see thousands of people die than to support Trump's ceasefire vision. Am I wrong?
Well, Bill, to support a ceasefire would be to give Donald Trump a tremendous diplomatic achievement. So first of all, I think a lot of people on the left simply do not support diplomacy or any kind of off-ramp here because they don't want to give Donald Trump the ability to have a globally recognized diplomacy achievement to his name. I mean, think about the Abraham Accords, thinking of the Middle East topic there. I mean, the Abraham Accords were a transformative, generation-defining peace agreement that Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu were able to broker between Israel and the UAE, Bahrain, Morocco, Sudan in 2020. In any other generation, any other president, Bill, you know, that would have been a Nobel Peace Prize worthy event here. So I think the left does not want to give Donald Trump a similar opportunity for a Nobel Peace Prize worthy event. Presumably, they would only deny him the prize.
You're so dishonest. Why don't you say that then? Just say that instead of hiding behind all this garbage. Final question for you. You have invested a lot of emotion in Israel, and I respect that. But I don't know, under a guy like Netanyahu, if it can ever be détente. Are you optimistic?
Look, Benjamin Netanyahu is a student of history. This is someone who has done the reading, so to speak, there. I think his moment is now or never. He's the longest serving leader in Israeli history. He has led his whole life, and he has proclaimed that he will never let Iran get a nuclear weapon, that he will never let the Palestinian Arabs commit various acts of jihad. Well, tragically, October 7th did happen under his watch now. And again, Bill, as you and I were saying earlier in the conversation, President Trump has gone all in. He has made extraordinarily clear that Bibi Netanyahu and Israel, the ball is in their court there. So there is really an extraordinarily high amount of pressure on Prime Minister Netanyahu, something that he is quite familiar with, for better or for worse. But he has a lot of pressure on him to actually finish the job in Gaza once and for all. I'm cautiously optimistic that they will do it, but I'm not certain.
We'll add someone. All right, the book is Israel and Civilization, the author Josh Hammer. We wish you very good luck with it, Josh. Thanks for helping us out tonight.
My pleasure. Thank you guys so much.
Okay. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on X. Look for @Bill O'Reilly.